watching Lit Happen, Saskatoon's showcase of Saskatchewan's literary world. I'm really pleased with my guest here today, Jefferson Smith, whose book actually isn't out yet. But we're still delighted to have him here because Jefferson's book has quite a story to it. Just the fact that we don't even have the hard copy here. We have it here on his iPad, the cover, and that's the first time we've ever done that on this show. So it just shows how the book world's changing. Hey, Jeff? Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. But first of all, can you give us a synopsis of Strange Places and what we can look forward to?
Strange Places is it's a coming-of-age novel.
Yes.
It's about an orphan girl who's raised in, shall we say, extreme circumstances that she finally decides to do something about. And in the process, she launches herself into an adventure that spans two different worlds, both the contemporary world and a fantastical world.
Nice. If everything goes as planned, it's going to be the first book in a series, an ongoing series.
Yeah, the series is called Finding Tana,
Yes.
which is plays at a number of different levels. The most obvious of which is that, as I said, it's a coming-of-age novel. So she's out there trying to find herself, but there's a lot of other people trying to find her too.
So there's quite an interesting background. There's a story behind the story. How did Finding Tana and Strange Places even manifest?
It started about 6 or 7 years ago. I have 3 teenage daughters, and we started, they were just stories I was telling at the dinner table. Sort of instead of gathering around the television, we decided to do something a little more creative and literary.
Good.
And Tana grew up out of that with my 3 teenage daughters, and eventually I decided there was enough story and world had built up, and the family was invested enough that I thought, maybe I should put it into book form. And then subsequent to that, my wife and I had another baby. And so we have 3 teenagers and a toddler. And it seemed rather fitting when the baby was born that we named her after the heroine in the novel. So she's also Tana.
Nice.
And that sort of cemented her right into the sort of family culture that had evolved that she had missed out on.
Right, right. Now, this cover that we're seeing here isn't the original cover design. The cover has evolved as your writing journey has evolved too. Can you tell us about that?
We've played with, I think, 8 or 10 different cover designs so far. Each of them has expressed a different aspect of the book, and we've sort of evolved it as we've tried to meld in different elements. You know, the novel is not aimed at any one particular demographic. I think it's very appropriate for teens and young adult.
Yeah.
A lot of the adults that I've had read it are really engaged by it. And that's actually been one of the challenges, is coming up with a cover that says that to everybody and conveys the fun and the attitude, but doesn't sort of exclude anybody who might be interested in it. So that's been a rather creative journey we've been on just on that front.
I really like it. And I think others are going to like it too.
Thanks.
Now, one thing that's really fascinating about you is writing is just one little corner of your universe. There's a lot of things you do. Can you tell us about all?
Well, in addition to the writing and doing the graphic design on the cover, I just completed my PhD at the University of Saskatchewan, and
Awesome.
Prior to that I had a 20-year career working in feature film special effects, and so I'm a technology and creativity theorist as well as a practitioner.
Wow. You're also, and this is sort of how we met, you're on the board of directors of the Saskatoon Writers' Coop.
Yep, I've been doing that for about 4 years now. The Writers' Coop does a fair bit of work in the community, as you know.
Yes.
Providing support and infrastructure to help people who are trying to become writers. And so we do courses and things like that, and I'm fairly involved in helping to figure out what courses we're going to offer. And I do a regular, but once a year I do a course for writers on technology in writing and the tools. That's also my research area, so what tools people can use, and also how technology is impacting the publication side, and all the new things you can open up with ebooks and audiobooks, and how the web works, and how you can engage the web for both distribution and for marketing and fan interaction. So there's quite a bit of technology that I think the publishing community as a whole is struggling to come out with. So
yes, and the whole book world is changing dramatically, technology-wise, and I find you're very knowledgeable about that sort of thing. So
Thanks.
Yes.
It's one of the areas. I mean, it fascinates me. You
Yes.
know, we're seeing a change
yeah,
in the literary world that is comparable to the change of Gutenberg's printing press.
Wow.
And the democratization of writing. We're taking everybody can now be a writer and reach a global market. I mean, there's just astounding possibilities there.
Yeah, talking about all that, I'm glad you're on my side. So, speaking of technology, do you have a website?
Yeah, I have about 8.
Okay.
But the one that matters here is my writing website, and that's jefferson.smithicus.com, and
Okay.
that's where most of my writing life is presented, and I engage with readers at that address.
Good to know. So, Strange Places is going to manifest in late June, and I'm sure everything's going to go well. And when can we expect the next installment of it?
Well, that depends on how much time I get to write. As you mentioned
Yeah.
earlier, I've got a lot of things on my plate, but
Yeah.
the goal is to have the next one out in about a year.
Sweet. So,
And it's called Strange People.
Strange People.
Yes.
Oh, really? That's enticing already. Yeah. Well, it was really great to have you here, Jefferson. I'm glad
thanks.
we made this happen.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Thanks for being on the show.